Okay, now we're on to our second part, the Titan 2M. This is the first side, and this one I've already designed and I have partially programmed, but I can see I got some issues I have to do. And I think this is an older one before we updated our tool list. So if I go into my tool library, and there's my setup right here. And I can tell these are the old original Titan tools. And now we're using our own STC Titan building block aluminum tools here. So I am going to swap over tools by operation. So the 1M's very similar as far as the operations go, other than we're using a tool 2 is a little bit bigger, and we have different size threaded holes. So in the facing operation, I'm just going to go in and select right here, aluminum building block tools. I'm going to turn on milling, and this one here, the face mill. And this has the new preset data. So I'm just going to select that, and this one will be good to go. 3,183 RPM and feet per tooth. And we'll also have you do some lessons on what feed and speed is all about. Alright, so pretty much everything's pre-selected because I'm updating an operation. And before I do that, I'm going to look at machining time, and this is at 8 minutes 34 seconds. This is programmed with the original Titan method of 4,000 RPMs. Okay, so I'm going to go the adaptive. I'm going to go select out of the building block aluminum. I'm going to click on milling, and I am sorting by size. Right here, the 2-flute end mill. If I go to setup 2, these are all the tools. Yeah, that was the original tool. So I'm going to go in here and get the. And we're doing an adaptive operation, so I'm going to pre-select that data. So up here, this is my pre-selects. And now we're running at 5,920 at 62 inches a minute. And all these settings are still good. Model top, model bottom, optimal load. Now this is actually in the preset data, so we don't have to remember that, and the maximum stepping rough down. Alright, I'm just going to raise this up a little bit, or I can squeeze this up and I can hit the OK button. Okay. This one's got some recalculations involved, but that looks good. Now I'm going to go edit this one. And this has the old one, so this doesn't have the preset data, so we have to go select tools. So in this case, that tool is already in there. Notice it says this is the old tool and this is the new tool, the STC tool. So I want to select that one, and I'm going to select, but I forgot to hit the preset data, and this is a contour operation because I'm going to select contour, and that gives me all my feeds and speeds for that. I hit OK, and this is contouring the outside of the big section there. So I'm going to edit this one. This one also has no preset data, so I'm going to go back into setup 1 and find the STC tool, this one here. And now we have two tools with the same tool number, so we're eventually going to switch over, and that's also a contouring operation. So I can pre-select it now. It says contouring there, hit OK. Okay, now we have the chamfering tool, and I also notice, I think that has one too many cuts, but I think that'll still work. This is the chamfering tool. So I'm going to go to the new building block library. I'm just going to pick milling to narrow down the selection. And there it is right there, the 3/8 STC chamfering tool. We're doing chamfering. So I'm going to click the preset chamfer, hit select, And now we get 6,000 RPM at 30 inches a minute. Hit OK. And that tool we also use to do the spot drilling operations. So if I go to select the tool again, go to setup 1, and the STC, it says chamfer mill drill, and I got a preset for drilling. Hit select. And that one has slightly less RPM. And let's make sure our operations are correct. Model top with a negative, and we're using drilling rapid out. Okay, so that looks good. And the last two I don't think are affected by the change. But let's get them all out of the library, so we're on the new library. That'll be hole making, that's drills. And this one is the 228 drill right here. And it says right there, STC preset, so we can select that one. And that's all set now. I'm going to make sure it's model top. And deep drilling. Now the pecking increment, we don't really get into this. We're going to start to step this up a little bit. We're going to use at least 0.100. I'm going to make this 0.100. This is a G83 Peck drilling cycle. Oh, a lot of information there. But it actually goes up and down. And this is the amount of Peck. So I'm going to change that to improve that one. And I'm going to go in here and select. And I'm just going to go back into building block aluminum, hole making, and that would be the 1/4 forming tap. That one I don't think really changes. I'm going to hit OK. Let's do a quick simulate. Simulate. And press play. Alright. Cuts the top. Everything looks good there. I'm using tail for the toolpath mode so we can just see where it came from. The yellow lines represent the rapid clearance moves, and this is the adaptive clearing. And that optimal load setting was the spaces between the each cut. Yep. All right. And the preset data is more on target for the machines in our class. All right, it looks pretty roughed out. We're going to get it up. Contouring move, that'll finish that. Now here's an area here, right here. This area right here, our goal was to leave 20 thousandths all over, and I was looking at this step here. And this would work, but if we were cutting tougher metals, this might be an issue. I am in contouring now, but I think the issue is really on the adaptive, because if you notice here, it's thin and it's thick here. I'm just going to hit close for a second. I'm going to go into adaptive, because there's a lot of settings in adaptive. So we had it preset, so it's got optimal load settings. That's the sideways cutting. And this says machining radius, machining cavities, and maximum step down. Now I believe it is slot cleaning, climb, fine step down. Fine step down for intermediate steps. So step down is also in 3D is really also step up, because it's meant to cut like a 3D surface, but we're using it in a 2D scenario, which actually works pretty good. I'm going to change this one to 0.2 just to see what happens. Now notice how this got very thick there, right? So that's when they talk about step up. So this increment of how it goes up and over in a 3D environment. So in that case, I believe we need to make this smaller. We need to make this about the same size as the stock to leave. Let that regenerate. And that looks a little closer. So let's do the simulate again. I'm going to do the jump ahead with the round ball. Round ball 1, round ball 2. And we'll check to see if the contouring cut a little bit deeper. And I could tell right there by the line that we're closer. So some of these settings you just learn a little bit about tweaking them. Like peck drilling setting, you can increase a little time on that. Alright, let me just speed this up. I think we're doing pretty good now. Got the chamfering moves, the spot drills, and there's the peck drill, and then the tapping. Okay, close. Let me just, I could have actually checked the time there. So the machining time is now 5 minutes. That's 3 minutes shorter. So if you were making 100 parts, you would save 300 minutes of time. That would be 60 into 300. Yeah, that'd be 5 hours of savings. That's pretty impressive. Okay, these tools are not in order. They're tool 1, 2, because the tool library has them numbered and they don't have any duplicate numbers. So if I go back into my tool library, this is setup 1, now which has all the new STC tools in there. And these will be the originals, but these will update. We need to renumber these so they're in order. We're going to do by order of operation, which will actually line up with our setup sheet. And I'm going to say start from 1 and use increments of 1. Just hit renumber. And because we updated some info, it's just giving us a little heads up. Yep, and now they're all in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they're in order. And this is something you can catch when you do the post-processing. So I do the post-processing, and I'm using my cloud directory, my cloud post, which gives me just a limited selection. I have, notice right here it says Titan 1M. This is Titan 2M. So I know on this setup I did not fill out that tab. Right here, there's nothing there. Titan 2M. Op1. Yay, FD. Okay. WCS of 001 would be good. I'm going to hit OK. Now I can do my G code, and there it is right there. I have my labeled correctly. I'm going to post. I'm going to save it on my USB as 1001. And I can review the code right here. And this is also where I can catch that if I forgot to reorder the tools, or if I didn't have all the tool selected. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. So this is ready to machine. Okay, we'll cover Op2 and also engraving coming up soon.